How's it going, everybody? Monday afternoon. Hope it was good for everybody. You know, everybody likes to typically gripe about Mondays, about how they're, dreadful or whatever. It's just, to me, it's just another day that God's given us. It doesn't matter if it's Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, whatever, Friday. I don't look forward to any one day more particular than the other. They're all just our days that He's given us. I just try to make the most out of it. I'm going to do just a short video today because I haven't exactly gotten an entire script put together, I guess, on this. But I kind of wanted to throw it out there because it's been on my mind all day. And it's definitely something that God is putting on me to share. I need to get a few more things in order before I just lay it all out there. But it's something you see every day. It's something that exists, and its rates are very high in the U.S. Not to mention whatever the rates might be in the world. I haven't looked, but depression and the suicide rates among teens and young adults and even some older adults, it's astronomical. It's too high. And the thing I wanted to touch on it is I can give a personal testimony on the depression part and having some suicidal thoughts back in the day. But the thing that back when I went through my major depression state was doctors tried to push it on me to take lots of medicine. And if you know me, you know I'm never a fan of medicine. Not really even headache pills. And I'll tell you the reason why. And that's because a very close family member of mine started out like that, and pills led to bigger, worse, things. So that was kind of my reason to stay away from that, because I saw that from the time I was very young up until my early 20s. But the thing with depression and people, let's back that up. The thing with depression and myself was that, obviously from things that had been done wrong to me as a child growing up, and from choices that I had made myself, and the way that I chose to deal with them, especially before I invited God in on it. The biggest thing for me, and I discovered this back in 2014, was the fact that God is bigger than all of those problems. And no matter what anybody tells you, you don't have to be depressed. And I know that there are pills and stuff out there that have been created for this stuff. And I took those pills. I listened to my doctors and to my co-workers and friends and some family. And I went to the doctor several times, spent lots of money because I didn't have any insurance. So I just paid for all this out of pocket. And I went to the doctor several times. I went to pay lots and lots of money back when I was married for marriage, professional marriage and anger counseling and stuff like that. And I got some good insight from those people, and I got some good pointers, I guess. But man, none of that, like the depression and stuff that I was fighting, the medicine made it worse for me. And it may help some people. I don't know, and if it does, that's great. Keep taking it, I guess. But the medicine never did it for me. It didn't even touch it. It made it worse. It drug me down. It killed my personality. I was less motivated, even less motivated than what I'd already started out to be. So the only medicine that I discovered for depression and for suicidal thoughts and for anger was God, obviously, because I post about Him every day, nearly all day. But it was my walk with God and what was going on and what I was going through and the way that I researched God and what He did and what He has set out for us, and also the reason why I was going through it, the causes and the effects of all of it. So for me, it all happened, I guess, back about August or September of 2014, and I went on my first walk, and right around that time I was very suicidal and I was very depressed. And I know I said this wasn't going to be a long video, but I think it's turning out to be one, but that's okay. This is the part of the story that I want to tell, but I don't necessarily want to tell it just throwing it out there. I'm kind of going to set a time for it, but I'm going to give you the short run. And the short run of it is if it wasn't for Wesley Crumpler, Kelton Coleman, and Macy Coleman, Wesley's wife, Lauren Crumpler, I was talking with those people when I was going through my divorce, and really when a lot of my problems started to surface for me, and I was struggling very bad with all of it. I didn't want to live. I didn't want to go through the pain. I didn't want to do any of that stuff. I didn't want to work. I didn't want to be a father to my son. But anyway, if it wasn't for those people back then, around September of 2014, I believe is when it was, they took me to Slayton, Texas on my first chrysalis. It was a chrysalis, and that's basically a 72-hour period where a great big group of men get together. Sorry for the interruption on the phone call. It's where a great big group of men get together, and you go to the church in Slayton, which there's many more locations just besides this one, but we're there for about 72 hours, and it's a whole group of men that take off their personal time to go do this, to go minister, to go tell their stories, and to offer not necessarily a lesson, but to offer insight on the same things that you're going through, and things and it's men that you would never even imagine that have gone through these things, that have done some of the things that they've done. You just wouldn't believe it by the way they're standing up there telling their stories, because of who they were then and who they are now, because of what they allowed people that led them to God and what they allowed God to do once they were introduced. Well, like I was saying about those pills and about stuff like that, absolutely not one thing ever helped me with my depression until I went on my first walk and I was truly introduced to God in a way that I never had been. And it took a long time. I'm not saying that weekend just up and fixed it right then. This is something that I still work on to this day. Every day, day in and day out, all day long. But anyway, like I said, I'll get to all that, and I'm gonna lay it out kind of detailed from front to back on how that happened. But suicide and depression and anger and bars, alcohol, that stuff, that's all just a big crutch to lean on, to think that's the way to make stuff better. And I've had several of my good close buddies in just the last 8 years that have committed suicide, and it's a bad deal. And if I can do something, if I can share my testimony, if I can just relate to people and what they're going through and try to help them, not saying that I have the answers, just to show an example, because I'm one of the biggest examples of wanting to end it all, wanting to just let it all go. Well, I can tell you the best thing that I ever did was never give up. But I didn't give up because I was a strong human being. I didn't give up because God was trying to get a hold of me. And if it wasn't for those people, Kelton, Macy, Wesley, and Lauren, and as well as the other people on the walk that I got to know when I was there, I don't think I would have been here to this day. And I'm very thankful for that. So that's going to be my next this is going to be my next few segments in these videos that I do, and you're more than welcome to watch. I hope everybody can get something out of it, because I know I will still continue to get something out of it, as well as I can't wait to hear other people's stories. Anyway, have a good day. Taco Tuesday tomorrow, looking forward to that. Fly with Christ, and have a good week. Say your prayers.